All right, welcome back. Dr. Zoda here, and today we have Dr. Tan Mai with us. Now, Tan is a private practice optometrist specializing in myopia, and he joined the Digital Doctor program back when he had a private practice that was doing reasonably well, and he loved the patients and teaching other optometrists and seeing their success. But he wanted to have more time outside the clinic to work because he wanted to and not because he needed to, and ultimately to have more time on mentoring and teaching and seeing the growth of others. And before we started working together, he has done workshops and small conferences in the past, but he wanted a way to teach young optometrists and help them open their own practice without sacrificing his time. And since joining our program, he's been able to launch his online course, helping doctors grow a successful orthokeratology business without going through years of trial and error. And if this is something you're interested in, definitely check out optometrymasterclass.com. All right. And today we're going to dig into his story and go through every step of his evolution. So let's start from the beginning. Like, where did you first hear about us?
Yeah, so I was just randomly scrolling Facebook, and I saw this uh, how this Dr. Zoda made a six-figure business, and part of me thinks I've learned to be very curious as I've grown my own business. Basically, before I had my own business, I would have just skipped over an ad like that. But now that I'm in business, I always think, well, if this ad is here, it can't be here forever. Let's just convert it. And it must not be. It has to be doing okay, and people must be having some success with it. So let me just click on it and see what happens. And then I clicked on it and I watched your video, and I was very intrigued, and I put the phone call.
And why were you intrigued?
I was intrigued because I knew that I had always wanted to do some sort of online class or a course of my own, um, and I was intrigued by your video that it made sense to me how you had this one slide that said you can do one-on-one consulting because I was thinking about being a consultant, but that is very time intensive. You have to sit down and just one-on-one and one-on-one forever. But then if you make a course and make it evergreen, it can go to 100 people all at once, and it just it was like a light bulb went on my mind. I was like, oh yeah, it's usually the same content again and again. Why not just memorialize it and then just have it spread faster
Mhm.
and reach more people?
I remember you told me you were thinking about starting your own online course for 4 years at that point, right? Have you ever taken any action?
I never did. I was just too busy growing my own business because I have a brick and mortar practice and I own the whole thing. And so hiring staff and running it was just too time intensive. But then I just realized I don't know if for some reason your ad spoke to me, and then I just decided to get going. And once I signed up, the 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 action of signing up made me commit to it more. If I didn't sign up, I probably would have committed ever. Who
Oh,
knows?
wow. And why did you decide to join the program and work with us specifically?
I I was interested in doing it, but I didn't have a mentor to guide me to step by step what to do. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to market it. I didn't know how to create the course itself, the bones of it. I didn't know how to set any of it up, and so I figured if someone else has done it before and they've successfully done it before, then it stands to reason that maybe they can help me do it too.
Okay, great. And I remember our call, and some of the people watching might have hesitations about, starting starting an online course like this, right? I remember one of the hesitations you had was just the time commitment. You're worried about investing a lot of time and not really getting any results, right? Could you tell me more
Yeah.
about that?
I think that's my number one fear because money is not as important as time, which is non-renewable. And so I was afraid that what if I create a course and spend like 100 hours or more on trying to build a course, and then no one buys it, and then I just wasted a lot of time, and that's you never get time back. And so that was my number one fear.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And I'm gonna call you out, but I remember during our call, you were scared that this was going to be a scam, right?
Yeah, I was, because like it's one of those things that like I clicked on an ad, and then I booked a call, and then I was on the phone with him, and then he says, here's the cost of the course. I won't say how much. And I just thought I've never met him before, and I'm gonna hand him my credit card, and we're gonna do this thing. So I had to ask my wife, And then she even thought, "Are you sure?" Because she's very risk averse. And then I don't know, for some reason I just thought, it's just so unlikely that it is a scam. And Chester seems like a good guy, from what I can tell. Because I can read people decently when I was as a doctor. I see so many people, and so I decided to go for it. And absolutely, it's been not a scam whatsoever. It's been great. The program is wonderful. It definitely works. That all the concepts that work, all the concepts will work if you apply them. And also not even just that it works. It's the sequence in which you apply them matters.
Mm,
The fact that you say, sell the course before you build it, then if it sells, then you have proof it'll work. Now, if it doesn't sell, either you have to re-engineer it, or maybe you should scrap it, and you just saved yourself 100 hours of time building something that no one wanted. So that was very elegant, and I like that a lot.
uh-huh. And despite all those, hesitations about this not working out, investing all this time, not getting results, and maybe even scared that this is a scam, what made you pull the trigger at the very end?
It's a good question. It was just I felt that um, honestly, I felt that you would probably give me more individual attention than a program maybe I've heard of before. Let's say it's like someone really big in the digital marketing space that I could hire. I felt like I wouldn't. I would definitely wouldn't get them. I'd get someone that maybe just works or trained under them, and then I just felt like I was just part of a too big of a group. I felt like your group just felt more intimate to me. It felt like I'd have more access because you had this great thing where you said, we've got weekly phone calls and we will answer all your questions.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, really? Like, what if I have a lot? But okay. And you've been great. And so I felt like I wouldn't just be taking a course, watch the videos, and then like if I'm stuck, good luck. I felt like I had a lifeline to help me.
That's good to know. And yeah, we were talking about this a bit earlier about the way I sequenced my course specifically in that order to get the end result, right? Which for our community is a hygiene standard of at least $10,000 per month. And what's been your experience through the program?
It's been great. I would say so far everything has worked out exactly. If I just followed the program so far, everything has worked out. I first came up with the niche, who I'm targeting, and kind of really defined it, and then I came up with what I think would match that niche, with a product that would have the right product market fit, based on just my hypothesis that I think it would. But the most important thing is when I started to test the hypothesis, and the way that I validated the hypothesis with the curious genius question, where I wasn't hard selling people. I was just asking them, if I made something like this, would you be interested? Which is not a hard sell. I'm just asking them a question, and then they gave me feedback, and based on that feedback, I was able to design something that addressed all their concerns. So it would make sense that they would, buy a product that basically answered their desires. And so it was a smart, elegant way to design, even just a way to sell the class.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely. I know, like, from all the clients that we work with, one of the biggest rate limiting steps, one of the biggest hesitations is not being able to find that right idea, right?
Mhm.
And some of the people that join, there's usually two groups of people. There's people that have no idea, and people that have too many ideas. They don't know which ones to focus on. And so, which one would you classify yourself as when we first started out?
Ah, I would say I had three big ideas, and so I didn't have too many, and I did have zero. And so I was kind of in the middle. I just focused. I was gonna try to validate one of those three. And the first one I focused on was the one that I personally have spent the most on myself, because I've spent money for this training myself. I've
Hmm.
spent tens of thousands of dollars, so it was scratching my own itch, and I was basically just taking everything I learned and just packaging it onto an online course, essentially. So yeah, that was my approach.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And as far as testing the hypothesis and gathering the feedback, could you talk about a bit about that process?
Yeah, so I'd say this is based on what I've seen in the digital doctor community. I feel like this is probably the hardest step for a lot of doctors, is that they don't know where to go. Like, do I go on Reddit? Do I go on Facebook? I tried posting in a group and I got kicked out by the admin, and things like that. For me, I focused on Facebook groups. I didn't do Reddit, just Facebook groups, and it was groups that I was already a part of and already sharing ideas with and having conversations with other doctors already. And so by the time I posted, they already knew that a lot of people already knew who I was, and that I was a reasonable person. But I guess the main thing I'm trying to say is that I posted in the right groups that had exactly where my niche and target doctor was having conversations online.
Mhm.
And when I asked this question, it's a question that a lot of other people have questions about, and they don't know how to get started and how to grow a myopia management program and orthokeratology program. And so, since I asked that same question, if I showed you how to do it, would you be interested? And that's when the avalanche of responses came in. Right now I've got 174 PMF surveys.
Wow.
Still, yeah, I stopped collecting them. I didn't. I haven't asked anyone for, it, but they keep coming in based on my original post.
Uh-huh. And that's how you know you've gotten that product market fit, and now you're building your course right now, right?
Yes. So now I'm in week 3. So the beauty of what you do is you say, do the PMF survey first, find out what people want, and then based on that, sell them what they want. And then after you get, at least like, I think, was it 5 buying clients? I forgot how many at least, but uh, basically once you have people that have actually given you money, right? Because that's the biggest validation of all. Credit card swiped is number one. And so I've gotten I invited 10 people to my course only. So out of the 174 survey responses, I decided to start small because I was titrating the price. And you were smart. I was gonna just blast the same price to all 174 people, and then you're like, "Stop, dummy! Don't do that because you don't really know what the price is gonna be. Why don't you test it?" And I said, "Yes, you must test it." So I started at $500. I sold 3 right away. I went up to $1,000, sold another 3 right away, and then I went up to 1,500, and I sold you know more as well right away. Um, some of them though. So I will say I did go back. Some of them that saw the $1,000 price and $1,500 price, they saw the original $500 though, because it's just 10 people. They saw the original. They said, "Please, we just saw it to us for 500." I just waited like 2 days, and you bumped the price up right. And I did honor the price for some of them, so I made a little less money, but it wasn't a big deal. I was willing to do it. And so I think overall, I'm still happy. I've made thousands of dollars on just these first 10 people. So right now I'm 10 for 10. I did not expect that. And I still have 164 people I need to invite. But I think I'm going to raise the price a little bit more.
Yeah, so that's 100% conversion rate so far.
Yeah, I did not expect that. I would have been happy with 2 out of 10 because you had said 20% is my goal. And that was my goal. I told my wife, if I get 2, I'm going to start building this course or something because I'm excited. But I got 10 out of 10.
Absolutely. You've hit the jackpot. And I mean, imagine if you went about this alone, you would have probably sent out 174 surveys. That's 174 grand that you're leaving on the table, basically.
Yes, exactly. And you probably made me like $100,000 richer just by saying, "Stop! Don't email everyone just yet." Just that one piece of advice. I was like, "Wow, that just paid for the whole just the Zoda course."
Yeah, that's amazing. Um, yeah, well, would you be open if we, dived into your website and
Sure.
kind of had a look? All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
So this is the optometrymasterclass.com. All right. Um, so yeah, can you walk me through like your website? What was the thinking behind it and stuff like that?
Yes. Yeah. So I am a big fan of just listening to mentors and things like that. So you said keep it simple, keep it clean, don't have a lot of text, don't have flashy videos, anything crazy like that. So I just followed your template exactly, yeah, almost. The only thing I added was the testimonials on the bottom, but I just copied your template and I assumed that you've tested it and it's worked. And so who am I to question something that I've never done if you have something that's tested, right? And so that's my approach. I just copied exactly what you told me to do, like from everything.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons, to be honest, why you did so well. It's because even with your email marketing, right, you pretty much just used our templates and you adapted it for your own specific niche. And then with the websites, you just trusted that this is the data evidence based best cleanest website that you can possibly have. Some people might think, oh wow, this is so simple, it can't possibly work. You have to add, some videos, a blog, a text over here, and so on and so forth, just to make something work. But this is what we found to be the simplest approach, because that is actually what scales in the end.
Mhm.
And you've just done it exactly the way we intended to in the program, and I think that's also accountable for why your results are so amazing. And so let's say we're an optometrist, we're interested in starting your program, then we could just simply click this, we can opt in, and that's gonna take us to your video, right?
Yep, correct.
Awesome. So walk me through the this video right here. Like I know you had one or two or three iterations of this video, right? Could you walk me through
That's
that?
right. That's right. So this is my third or fourth version of that of shooting the exact same video almost, but I just kept shortening it because my first one was 26 minutes long. I just felt that was too long. But what I did was I asked so three of the students who signed up. I asked them. Uh, I knew them actually personally before they signed up, and so they were destined to be my student because I was going to make them. But anyways, I just asked them to give me feedback, and they said, the video is good, but it's just too long, or it took you too long to get into the meat of it. And so then just from then on, I just cut. There's a great saying I love by Mark Twain. He said, I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one. And so I spent more time to write a short letter, basically. And essentially, I want to introduce the person watching first, what they want. What do they want from me first? Not I didn't jump to like let me tell you about me because people don't care about me, they care about themselves. And so I want to start with what they care about first, and then I talk about what they want, and then I talk about how I can help guide them get there, and then I do a call to action, and that's my entire video basically.
Absolutely. And would you be open with clicking on this checkout page?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So you guys, whoever is watching this video and you're interested in buying your program, better get in now, because this is probably the lowest you're ever gonna see it.
It's probably going up.
It's probably going up. Yeah. So so basically, yeah, that's basically how the entire website is. Once you kind of people come onto your website, they watch this short little introduction video, and then at the very end, they fill out their credit card information and they purchase your program. And all of this, you kind of just set it up once, right? And it
Mhm.
just works in the background automatically forever. And now, once you say you purchase your program, then you're gonna get access to your entire course, right?
Mhm.
Which you haven't even built it yet until you got your first few customers, right?
That's right. So once I sold a couple, then I started building it. I'm almost done with it actually. So I'll be done
Okay.
probably in a week.
Okay. So you already got 10 students without even creating a product.
That's right. I didn't have anything to sell them except for a promise. And I've got thousands of dollars in my bank account for something that I haven't built yet. And then now I'm building it. And I told them it was a pre-order, so no one's confused at all. There's no issues. I think a lot of people get hung up by the fact that you're selling something that doesn't exist. But as long as you're upfront and say, hey, this is the pre-order for it. It's like a Kickstarter. You haven't made the product yet or have it, but you're gonna kickstart the project. It's the same thing.
Yeah, and most importantly, it's the best way to validate your product, because at the end, it's a win-win-win for all three parties. So I think we covered this in the program as well. Like Elon Musk, when he launches a Tesla, that's what he does. The he has to pre-launch the model without even creating it in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
because based on that, he's able to gather data on how many people actually want this car to begin with. That way, he's gonna know how many of those cars to make. Secondly, he's gonna know what characteristics does this car have to have in order to satisfy the end customer. And based on this data, this is actually a win-win for both parties. The people that pre-launch the course, they get at a everyday discounted price, whereas the builder of the course, the creator, you get to actually create a course that is completely custom and actually solves the problems that your end student actually has. So, in other words, you actually creating a higher quality course than just blindly creating one from scratch.
Mhm. That's
Yeah,
right. Exactly. That's exactly right.
exactly.
Yeah. So I base, yeah, that's why it's so brilliant because you, based on the surveys, you built the course addressing their concerns. You know, you dive right into what they want because you ask them in the survey, what do you want? And then you ask them, what's the emotional roadblock? What's the logical roadblocks? And then so during your video, you say, I will do this to overcome your emotional roadblock. And then this is the answer to the physical roadblock and logical roadblock. And then it stands to reason that if you give them what they want and you're able to overcome their own obstacles, that they'd be interested in your product. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. A lot of people that are watching this, they might think, one of the things I hear a lot is, well, there's all the information is free out there, right? Why would anyone buy your course?
Mhm. Yeah. Well, my course in particular, unfortunately, the information is not free out there. You have to take yeah, a lot of CE lectures. You have to get a lot of clinical experience seeing the patients yourself. So it's not out there yet, but I think someday it will be out there for free, more readily available. But I think the main difference is um, when, first of all, when you pay for it, of course, you value it more and you value the advice you get from it more, and you're more likely to execute it. But also at the same thing is you always get what you pay for. And so if there's a class that's free, it probably doesn't have that richness of content. It doesn't have that the depth and breadth of knowledge that you need to help you achieve your goals. Because if it did, a lot of people would already be doing it, or you would already be doing it. And so that's why your free advice almost never gets you there.
Hmm. And I think at the end of the day, it's not information that people need, right? Because
Mhm.
I think we all know how to have a healthy diet, healthy relationships, how to make more money, how to get your books in order. But some people are able to get amazing results and make that transformation, much like yourself, through this program. What people need isn't necessarily information. What they need is kind of like a system to follow, which is exactly what your course provides. You're teaching these young optometrists how to start their own business step by step, such that they, as long as they follow the instructions and they, basically go through the program, they're gonna get the result that they wanted, right?
Exactly. So yeah, ideas a dime a dozen, and so it is all about execution. It's all about staying out of the whirlwind that is your life and focusing on just a few important things. I call them the WIG, the wildly important goals from this book I read called The Four Disciplines of Execution.
Uh-huh.
And yes, and that is correct. The main thing, the most important thing I do is give the information, uh, but more importantly, have it step by step. So as long as you follow the cookbook recipe, then you will achieve your end result. And so we help execute and actually carry out the plan. And that's the number one reason why people don't succeed. It's lack of execution, not lack of ideas.
Yeah, 100%. And even knowing the steps is not enough. You need to know the sequence in order to execute
Mm.
those events, which you talked about, right? Because if
Yep.
you do
Yep.
things in the wrong order, let's say, like for example, if you were to build before you sold, the outcome would
Mm-hmm.
be completely different, right?
Yep. Yep.
And
Exactly. Like if I let's say I had three brilliant ideas, but the third one was the best one, and I didn't know that. But let's say I spent 1,000 hours building the first one, try to sell it, didn't work out. There goes 1,000 hours. I go to the second one, I spent 1,000 hours, doesn't work out, and then I scrap it. Then I go to the third one, and what if that was the golden goose? But then right before I decided to do it, I said, you know what? I've already failed twice. I've invested like 2 years of my life. I'm not going to do it. And you could have missed out on maybe a potentially game changer, right? And because you spent too much time building before you sold it versus selling, trying to sell all three of them, and then finding out that the third one is the winner right away. So yeah, you're correct. The syntax matters so much. If I say the dog bit Johnny, you know what that means. But if I just use the exact same words and say uh, Johnny bit the dog. It's the exact same words, but it means a totally different thing. So it's syntax matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean that is your progression so far, and I'm sure we're gonna do plenty of other videos in the future once your course, your students, once the profits continue to expand and expand. So, what would be the next steps for optometrymasterclass.com?
Yeah. So the next steps is I'm just finishing the course. I should be done in about a week, and then I'm the I'm gonna keep it still just to the PMF survey people. So I will slowly invite more than just the first 10 out of the 174 that I've received, just the PMF survey people. So I'll slowly let more in to see how it converts at which price as I'm titrating the price. And also those first few people allow me to adjust the course itself because the course itself is not a finished product. You know, which is fine, right? Perfection is the enemy of good, I say. So it's okay that the course is still almost rough, and the first few students are going to help me actually improve it. And I'm going to make changes based on their feedback. They're going to have questions for me that I did not address, that I didn't even think of, and I'll find that out, and I'll be like, oh, I need to create a lesson about this, this burning question that 100 people asked me about. And then from then on, I'll refine the course, and then I'm going to really open the floodgates and go into your model, your module 4 lesson about the advertising and all of that. I'm really stoked for that one, and so that's when I will scale it once I've finished all the 174 people that filled out the survey.
Absolutely. And using module 4, like where do you want to scale this course in the next 12 months?
Hmm. Yeah, I would say I'm hoping that to be done with my price testing and my course reiterations, the small tweaks in there in the next maybe 2 or 3 months, hopefully. And then I think, hopefully, maybe next month even. And then if everything looks good, then I will scale to everything that you say in your module 4. I'm a dummy. I just listen to Chess Zoda. I just follow. I'm just gonna follow it step by step. Well, whatever your worksheets tell me to do, the action items, I just do it from the top to the bottom until I'm done. And so that's my plan.
Yeah, that's probably why you're getting such good results because you're following what's tested, tried and true, our proven system, and I'm excited for you, man. It sounds like you really hit the jackpot. So far, you're making incredible progress, and this is just the beginning. Especially once you unlock module 4 of the training, that's where we pour gasoline into the fire, and things could
Hmm.
really start exploding. So at this point, I know our program isn't for everyone. The digital doctor program isn't necessarily for everyone. Who would you recommend this to?
Yeah, good question. I'd say I'd recommend it to someone who you have to be. One of the major fears that people have is rejection. Um, they feel as if they put themselves out there and the world will say, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an imposter, that imposter syndrome, And I'd say if you have a really bad case of imposter syndrome, um, yeah, you have to resolve some of those demons, otherwise it won't launch as well as you won't achieve what you want. And so you are your own obstacle first, and you have to overcome your own uh, roadblocks. And so this course does help get you there, though. But I think for some people, they still struggle, even because they get in their own way, and they try to do weird things. They jump to week 2 before you finish in week 1, and they do everything out of order, and or they I guess I'm just thinking about the comments I see on the digital doctor community, and so I'd say maybe the number one thing is that people start to second guess themselves a lot. Like one of the students, they started just trying to drop the price right away. That's the first thing they thought of. I'm gonna drop the price in half. And you were smart. You were saying, hold up, let's test things first and see how it goes. And I think as long as you follow a tested approach, where you're testing things as a scientist, then that's the way to go, and less emotional.
Yeah. So you think the main thing that holds most people back from taking action is just the psychological aspect? Yeah.
I think everyone has something that they know they can. If you're a doctor, you know so much that you don't give yourself credit for. So you have knowledge. You have knowledge that people pay money for because you're going to be a doctor. They actually literally pay you for your advice. So it's not the lack of knowledge. It's just lack of the psychological roadblock of thinking that what you have is worth anything.
And what do you think we can do in order to because to be honest, I felt the same way when I was starting my own course. I had so many insecurities. Uh, one of them was so ridiculous looking back. I was insecure about my voice, my
Mm.
accent.
Yeah.
It's really hard to pinpoint where I'm where I'm from just based on my accent. It's not American, it's not Canadian, it's not necessarily like Asian. That was my biggest insecurity. The second insecurity was really just putting myself out there, because as a doctor, you don't really obviously, like a lot of doctors, our day to day, we teach a lot. We have to prepare lectures, academic conferences. We have to share our knowledge to our colleagues as well as our patients. So pretty much, like all the information is there in our head already. But for me, I know those were the biggest insecurities I had when I was just starting out. I was worried that my idea wasn't good enough. I was worried that, much like you, if I invested the time, maybe there's no return um, for my time's worth, and even just a bit of imposter syndrome. Like you see all these people out there that are doing, uh, quote unquote better. You might see their social media profiles. You might start to think that you need a social media audience just to get some students, which is completely ridiculous looking back. I had all these limiting beliefs that held me back. So I guess my question to you is, what do you think to these people out there? Maybe one of them is watching us right now.
Mhm, mhm,
They know that they have the expertise. They want to build a source of passive income to free up their time at the hospital, to cut back on their clinical hours, as well as to serve more people and make meaningful impact and really position themselves as a global educator, teaching other people, healing the world with online education.
mhm.
What do you think we can do to help them cross that chasm and make this decision for themselves?
Yeah, yeah. So it's how do you drive anyone to action? And they say the first step to doing anything in your life is desire, and you need to start with why. One of my favorite books is Start with Why by Simon Sinek, and the reason why I like it is because it's truly what if you have a strong enough why, you will get the what and the how. And one thing that spoke out to me when I saw Zoda, your Facebook ad and you read your copy was it actually the first thing it did was uh, they say that when you get comfortable, that's the number one thing that can really detriment basically when you're comfortable, it can make a really bad impact on how successful you are because you're comfortable. So your lack of desire, right? And so when I clicked on your ad, it made me say, yeah, I could do more. I could help more people. I could spread and help other doctors do something. I could spread my knowledge to help more patients. And so it created a higher sense of the desire because I wasn't even aware that I could do it. And so I'd say the first step to helping more doctors to overcome imposter syndrome, your own psychological barriers, is having a strong why and a strong reason. Maybe you're trying to, I know there's another doctor who's trying to help past victims of like physical or sexual abuse
Yeah.
or yeah, that to me is a strong why. And that doctor is trying to educate and help empower people who've had those issues. And to me, that's a strong reason. Like that doctor will probably follow through and execute because I truly believe they're on a mission to help and give more and help more lives. And so that to me will overcome imposter syndrome. It will overcome your barriers if you have a strong desire, but you need to have a strong why. And I would advise everyone to they say there's the two most important days of your life are the day that you are born and the day that you find out why. And if you have a strong why and have something that you really want to give to the world, then you'll find a way. But you have to kind of, unfortunately, you have to look inside yourself to find out what your why is, because only you will know.
And I guess that's a beautiful way to wrap this up. But the final question, speaking of the why, what is your why?
Yeah, my why is so I'm really nearsighted myself. See, I'm wearing these glasses. My vision is poor, and it's really bad. And what we're learning is that it's mostly not genetic. Actually, that makes your vision bad. It's actually mostly environment. And so I'm passionate about having no kids grow up like me because I unfortunately am literally 100 times more likely to lose my vision sometime in my life than the average person because of how high my prescription is. And it's completely unavoidable. And so I am passionate about trying to prevent that from happening in young kids who stand no chance. And unfortunately today, there's so many kids that it's become epidemic, and there are more kids that have bad vision than ever before. It's actually doubled since the 1970s. So, anyways, that's my why. I'm trying to help more kids.
That's amazing. And I suppose we're gonna end up right here. Is there anything you'd like to add to this conversation?
Yeah, just you know, no matter what you do, even if you want to become a good tennis player, football player, do an online course, be a good doctor, you need a mentor. You need a coach. It doesn't matter what you do in any discipline. Even Tom Brady has a coach. You know, even Roger Federer had a coach. Tiger Woods has a coach. And so, no matter what you do, so I'm thankful first of all for you, Dr. Zoda, for being my coach because I don't know what I'm doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just following the cookbook, and so far it's working. and so, I'm thankful for you and thankful for the guidance that I've received, and I'm really happy. I hope that this will. I think this is going to go quite well. You know, it already has gone well, and so I think it's just going to scale up and be. It doesn't have to be. To me, it doesn't have to be. You know, it doesn't have to be all I do and replace my income or anything like that. But it's just something nice to help. If I can help more kids and you get better vision and spread the word, help other doctors do that, then to me that's mission accomplished. That's a check mark there, and so that's what I'm going for.
Absolutely. I'm grateful for you as well. I mean, you've been getting great progress through the results, and to be honest, this is just the beginning. Your course, once you've launched your course, once you've gotten into step 4 of the program, that's when things really start getting fun. And maybe we'll do another one of these by then.
Yeah, it'd be nice to. It'd be fun to see someone who literally hasn't gotten to where to like a Zoda level yet, but is just starting out and seeing it happen live.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and I'm just happy to help you bridge that gap and into the online course world. So, well, that concludes this video, and thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Dr. Tom Mai, for your time. And
Absolutely
absolutely.
great. Thank you for your time.